Many Transformers throughout the franchise are known for their special abilities. From Trailbreaker's force field,
must be getting old, Ironhide. What you need is a force field.
to Skywarp's ability to teleport,
Teleportation complete, Megatron.
these abilities can tip the balance in the never-ending battles between the Autobots and Decepticons. The Autobot spy, Mirage, can create the illusion that he is invisible.
Try this one, Spike. Now you see me? No, you don't.
Because of Mirage's past, his function as a spy has made many of his fellow Autobots wonder, can he be trusted?
I'm going back for reinforcements.
See you around.
Oh, no, you won't.
The original Diaclone Leger F1 JS11 toy was based on the real-life Formula One race car that was driven by Jacques Latif. While the toy used many of the same sponsorship logos, the French cigarette company Guy Taines was changed to Cytaines for the toy's release. Brought over to the Transformers toy line unchanged in 1984, the character was given the name Mirage. As written in his profile by Bob Budiansky, Mirage is an effective fighter and spy who would rather spend his time hunting turbo foxes with his wealthy friends. His Electro Disruptor can create illusions that can alter his appearance or make it seem like he isn't there for 6 minutes. However, because he is unsure of the Autobot cause and his place as a freedom fighter, his bio states he cannot be fully trusted. First appearing in the original G1 Marvel Comics, Mirage was one of the many Autobots aboard the Ark when it crash-landed on Earth 4 million years ago. Awakening in the present day of 1984, Mirage suggested that the Autobots simply take the energy resources they needed since he was eager to return home to Cybertron. When his fellow Autobots disagreed, Mirage questioned if he was on the wrong side. During a battle against the Decepticons, a sneak attack from Ravage overwhelmed Mirage. Instead of fighting back, Mirage attempted to reason with the savage Decepticon. Fortunately, Brawn was able to save his Autobot friend. When the Decepticons attacked the Ark, Mirage was able to use his Electro Disruptor to trick Laserbeak and Buzzsaw into believing he was someplace else. However, he was once again attacked by Ravage, who saw little reason to listen to Mirage's request of reason as he chewed off Mirage's arm. Realizing how crazy the Decepticons could be, Mirage blasted Ravage as he rejoined his fellow Autobots in battle. Once the battle was over, the Autobots were blasted by Shockwave, who hung the Autobots' bodies from the ceiling of the Ark. Rescued by Ratchet with the rest of his teammates, Mirage was promoted to being a background character for most of the comics run. Even the UK exclusive stories saw very little of this deceptive Autobot, with a few notable exceptions that even gave Mirage a bit of a temper. Ultimately, Mirage was killed by an underbase-powered Starscream. Without explanation as to how he was revived, Mirage made an appearance in the Generation 2 comics where he was quickly killed off by Decepticon forces. There was also plans to re-release his G1 toy in extreme 90s G2 colors. However, it was ultimately cancelled. Instead, Mirage's G2 toy was part of the GoBots subline. He also received an update in the short-lived Machine Wars toy line, and the toy was recolored to his familiar blue in the Japanese exclusive Robot Masters toy line. Skipping the G2 comics, the Regeneration 1 comics also had Mirage battle alongside his fellow Autobots with a bit of a mean streak, much like his attitude in the UK. However, how Mirage has appeared throughout the franchise was probably inspired mostly from how he was portrayed in the G1 cartoon.
Time for me to disappear.
Voiced by Frank Welker, Mirage was not quiet about his desire to return home.
Maybe we should repair our ship and go back to Cybertron and forget about the Decepticon.
We can't do that, Mirage. If Megatron succeeds here, he'll be impossible to beat on Cybertron.
His use of his Electro Disruptor, though different from his comic book counterpart, gave him temporary invisibility as he snuck behind enemy lines.
Drive your rifle!
This was used quite frequently, as Mirage could learn what the Decepticons were doing without being spotted.
Seems like you've run out of trusty friends, Megatron.
Despite his homesickness, Mirage was also a capable fighter. And his shoulder-mounted missile launcher packed quite a punch.
Gotcha!
In the climax of the More Than Meets the Eye pilot, Mirage snuck aboard the Decepticon battlecruiser as it launched for Cybertron. His disappearing act was even invisible to Soundwave's scanners.
Autobot invader! Autobot invader!
He heroically blasted the ship's controls, causing it to spiral out of control.
No! You can't let us crash, Soundwave! Do something! Do something!
Mirage then bailed out as the Decepticon ship crashed into the ocean, which later became the Decepticon headquarters on Earth.
Mirage! You did it! You stopped the Decepticons!
We knew you were anxious to get back to Cybertron, but at least you could have waited for us.
Sorry, Prime. The ship was full.
When the Autobots needed to disguise themselves as the Stunticons in the episode Masquerade, Mirage was disguised as Dragstrip, since they shared a similar vehicle mode. Not to blow their cover, they even use Windcharger's magnet beams to hold themselves together, while Mirage uses Electro Disruptor to put on a phony Menasor face. Though the Autobots were quickly outmatched by the real Menasor,
No need for the disguises anymore?
the rest of the Autobots arrived in time for the Decepticons to retreat. Because of Cliffjumper's paranoia, Mirage's loyalty to the Autobots was questioned in the episode Traitor, when Cliffjumper found where the Decepticons were testing the stolen experimental electro cells.
In the same area Mirage patrolled yesterday.
Impossible! I'd have picked up a reading on them for sure!
Maybe you did, but decided to keep it quiet.
The Autobots roll out and attempt to retrieve the electro cells from the Decepticons. During the battle, Mirage struggles against Skywarp before the Insecticons arrive to turn the tide. Mirage is injured, but he ends up ripping off one of Skywarp's Decepticon insignia. Realizing the danger of fighting so close to the electro cells, Optimus Prime orders the Autobots to retreat.
We'll be back, Megatron. Bank on that.
We'll be waiting!
After being repaired by Ratchet, Mirage sneaks away from the Autobot headquarters, attempting to turn the Insecticons against the Decepticons.
I will squash them like the bugs they are! Decepticons!
Ultimately, Bombshell plants a Cerebro shell on the Autobot spy, who is ordered to lead the other Autobots into a trap. Cliffjumper gets his revenge on Mirage, knocking out the traitor with a throw. Bombshell then decides to terminate his slave before being blasted away by Ratchet.
I can't believe any Autobot would turn against his own kind willingly.
Ratchet discovers the Cerebro shell planted on Mirage, and the rest of the Autobots realize that Mirage was never a traitor to begin with.
I never wanted to do anything against my fellow Autobots. It was because...
We know, all of us.
As the tide of the battle turns,
But if I can't have the electro cells, no one can!
Megatron ultimately destroys the electro cells before the Decepticons retreat. Back at Autobot headquarters, Ratchet once again repairs Mirage, and Cliffjumper gives one of the oddest apologies ever.
I think I have a hole in my head that needs repairing too.
What?
In Transformers the movie, an unanimated storyboard would be the last appearance of Mirage during the Battle of Autobot City. He would have been seen blasting and killing Bombshell before meeting his end at the hands of Megatron's fusion cannon. However, the legacy of the possibility of Mirage being a traitor would follow the character long after G1 ended. In the Dreamwave comics, Optimus Prime sends Prowl and a small team to investigate after a battle with Shockwave, who claims that the war is over back on Cybertron. When Ultra Magnus arrives as co-leader alongside Shockwave, Mirage convinces Prowl to surrender. Viewed by everyone as a traitor, Mirage was just eager to return back home. Once the Autobots learn about Shockwave's intentions, they fight back and Mirage ends up saving Cliffjumper using his powers of invisibility. Once Cybertron is liberated from Shockwave's control, Mirage voiced his displeasure about returning to Earth, but Trailbreaker noted that Mirage's wealth was probably sold off by Shockwave. Prowl then decided that the protection of their second home was just as important as their first. Though he did not appear in the Beast Machines cartoon, there was a Viacon general under the name Mirage. This unintelligent trickster had his own troop of Viacon drones in the 3H BotCon comics. In 2001's Robots in Disguise, Mirage was part of the Autobot team The Spy Changers, and he was voiced by Wally Winger.
I'm not a figment of your imagination. Mirage, transform!
While trying to stop the Predacons from stealing a ruby, the Spy Changers positioned Mirage on a rooftop to utilize his excellent marksmanship. Mirage realized that if he missed, he could destroy a chemical plant. After being reprimanded by his teammates, Mirage chose to quit the team.
Your idea of teamwork is second-guessing everything I do, and I guess I can't work with you guys anymore. What do you say? So long.
While their leader, Hotshot, did not care for his insubordination,
He disobeyed a direct order. There's no room on the team for someone like that.
Ironhide tried to talk some sense into his friend.
You can't talk about us like that!
Mirage then realized he was being bugged by the Predacons and tried tricking them into thinking he was leaving the Autobots. Thinking they could lead the Spy Changers into a trap, Skybite had Mirage bring his former teammates into range of a new weapon the Predacons built. But Mirage used hand signals to warn his friends of the danger, and the Spy Changers were able to stop the Predacon plot.
Because he was only pretending to be a traitor to the Spy Changers, you fool! Now!
Mirage then let his team know he was being bugged, and he made amends with Ironhide.
I can't hit you. You're my friend.
In Transformers Armada, a Minicon named Mirage was part of the Minicon race team. The three of them could combine to form the Skyboom Shield. The name of Mirage would be haphazardly used as the upgraded form of the Decepticon Tidal Wave in Transformers Energon.
Transform!
In this new upgraded form, Mirage was very much a Megatron fanboy at an almost uncomfortable level. In Japan, however, Tidal Wave was named Shockwave, and his upgraded form was called Shock Fleet. In the IDW comics, Mirage joined Optimus Prime's crew on Earth to help stop the Decepticons. Being given false information, Mirage led the Autobots into an ambush by the Decepticons. The Autobots were defeated and forced through a space bridge back to Cybertron while the Decepticons attacked New York City. With everyone believing Mirage was a traitor, Ironhide proceeded to beat down Mirage and take off his Autobot badge. After learning that it was really a mentally wounded Sunstreaker who had betrayed them, Ironhide attempted to apologize to Mirage, who refused to forgive him. While it was an uneasy relationship, Mirage continued his fight against the Decepticons until the war's end when he joined the Lost Light crew. From there, he became a bartender of his own cocktail bar, the Visages, much to Swerve's displeasure. However, visions the Spy has had over the years brought Mirage back to Cybertron, accompanied by the Protectobots, to stop the Constructicons and Prowl in their combined form of Devastator. Afterward, Ironhide, Mirage, and Sunstreaker made amends before Prowl used the Enigma of Combination to merge the four Autobots with Optimus Prime to become Optimus Maximus. After battling Devastator, Prowl was arrested, and Mirage would return to the Lost Light crew with the Protectobots. Unfortunately, Getaway would take control of the ship, and Mirage would ultimately be killed by the zealous Starsaber. In the live-action films, a red Autobot with an Italian accent fought alongside his fellow Autobots in Dark of the Moon.
He's in a bad mood. He's not talking to anybody today.
While he was initially going to be named Mirage, his transformation into a Ferrari posed an interesting name trademark issue. Hasbro's competitor, Mattel, had exclusive rights to Ferrari toys, and so the character was named Dino in the finished film.
Dino, report to Bay 23.
Toys of the character, whether named Mirage or Dino, were red redecos of Revenge of the Fallen's Sideways to skirt around the issue of his vehicle mode. His character did not appear in Age of Extinction and could have possibly been killed off by Cemetery Win. While Mirage's distaste for war and his desire to return back home might make the Autobots question his loyalty, Mirage usually comes through. His combat skills and invisibility are invaluable to the Autobot cause.
For someone who doesn't like to fight, you're not bad, Mirage.
In fact, his most recent toy in the War for Cybertron trilogy's Siege toy line had a second release in translucent plastic to represent his use of his Electro Disruptor.
I'll scout on ahead. Follow me. Lucky my sensors can track old Mr. Invisible, or it'd be a tough act to follow.
Despite his bio stating that he cannot be trusted, Mirage has always proven that when the chips are down, this Autobot spy will be there when his friends need him the most.
Where's Mirage?
Sorry, Chief. I was just getting ready.
But what do you think? Can Mirage be trusted? Or is he truly a traitor to the Autobot cause? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your support. I've got many more Transformers videos like this coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Maybe I can help. That is, if I'm really a part of that jigsaw puzzle of a Reptilicon.
Prime, you did it! We've got him now! Or should we say we've got you?
This alligator is big and heavy. From the looks of it, I'd say a little of both.